Welcome to the Bitcoin Stat Show, where we'll be covering all the big stories in the world of cryptocurrencies. Whether you're mining Mooncoin, trading Bitcoin, or just curious about the world of digital currencies, we've got all the info you need. And Bitcoin Stat Show is brought to you by the Bitcoin Stats app, now available on Android and the iOS App Store. The big story that dominated all cryptocurrency news was Newsweek's identification, supposedly, of Satoshi Nakamoto, and then the almost immediate subsequent stories to the absolute contrary. So it's been a bit of a crazy week for Bitcoin, particularly.
As well as the ongoing Mt. Gox saga.
As well as the ongoing Mt. Gox saga, but talk to me about Satoshi Nakamoto. What do we actually know?
We know that there's a dude called Satoshi Nakamoto.
There are several people on the US electoral register called Satoshi Nakamoto, it turns out.
Yeah. They decided to go and ask a few if they happened to be the Satoshi Nakamoto.
Yeah.
And then they obviously found this one guy who, unfortunately,
was interested enough in a free lunch to give an interview. By the sounds
well, they dug up some history before they did that, and his background looked like it could have been a background that would fit with the character of Satoshi.
He'd worked for the US government, defence.
Yeah, which conveniently means that he can't talk about it.
Yeah.
In defence or in confirmation that he may be.
But he also didn't have very good English.
Yeah,
so this whole thing could
just
be a lost in translation.
Well, there's also another argument about his English, that in the original emails and forum posts that Satoshi Nakamoto made, his English was pretty good.
In fact, it was British English, I read. A lot of people said that their opinion was that it looked like British English.
Right. Interesting.
Whereas this Satoshi Nakamoto, his English isn't, it's not bad by any means, but it's not as good as they think the original writing was. Japanese
English.
Exactly.
Or Jinglish.
So right after the Newsweek article came out, and Newsweek went out of print for a while. It was their first print edition.
Yeah.
Really?
For quite a while. And they relaunched with this huge scoop. I mean, it's the biggest scoop of, like, maybe not quite the century, but certainly the decade.
That's quite interesting.
And yeah, you can imagine how the Newsweek editor felt when immediately after the story coming out, it just completely fell apart.
Yeah.
And they'd invested all this sort of big launch in it. And Associated Press took him for a free lunch the day after. Again, there's this theme of, like, being taken for free lunches by the press, and he just denied any connection with Bitcoin.
Yeah, well, he went for the lunch, didn't he?
Yeah.
Because they knocked on his door, he opened the door and said, "Who wants to take me to lunch?"
That's it, yeah.
And they, plucked up, took him out for lunch, and he said nothing, which is brilliant.
Fair play to him.
And now people made him a Bitcoin wallet, and they've been donating Bitcoin to him.
As if he hasn't got enough.
Oh yeah, if he hasn't, he's either got like a nice 10% and he's just cracking a few more Bitcoins into his wallet, or
he hasn't got a clue what's going on.
He hasn't got a clue.
He's got his trains in his back garden.
Market cap's currently at 7.8 billion.
Yeah, he'd be about $500 million, I think.
So if you own $500 million worth of Bitcoin, why would you live in a crappy little house on the outskirts of LA?
But that's probably down to trying to keep his identity secret. To a large extent.
YOLO.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you'd be done at 500, but then I don't think his idea was to make loads of money. So maybe
right. What do you think was the original intention behind creating this cryptocurrency model and calling it Bitcoin?
It's an experiment.
Yeah. Because there used to be a lot of speculation that he was an ex-finance industry person who wanted to kind of create a big threat to the industry, because
stick two fingers up at the industry and say, right, I'm building this.
Because he'd grown bitter by working at it.
But what's quite interesting is that there's also no real promotion around Bitcoin that this guy supposedly has ever done. So how would you ever expect it to get big? I mean, it has, obviously.
Because
But you know,
it's a truly
it's an
viral idea,
thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Where is he now? Does anyone know where he is now?
LA.
As far as I know, he's
Probably,
just carrying on as usual.
Just
Getting
getting
the free
doorsteps.
lunches.
Probably gets a few more
Free lunches,
a
yeah.
few more phone calls. A few people standing outside his house.
Yeah.
Can't be fun.
I'm surprised the Mt. Gox people haven't turned up at his house. You know,
Wow.
with their banners.
Can I have some of your Bitcoin?
It's funny you should say that, because following on from Mt. Gox, the exchange today, it was coming out today, the exchange has filed for bankruptcy in the US, and some blockchain forensics carried out by people around the world suggests that Mt. Gox, the company, still has access to $600 million worth of Bitcoin.
Yeah, we saw that, but that was actually that was released earlier in the week, wasn't it? And I think that the image that was shown was just a total sum of how many Bitcoin, the value of the Bitcoins in the database.
Right.
And that wasn't necessarily. That doesn't mean that they have that much. That was just.
But
a
there was
count,
there was
wasn't it?
in and there was an out. Not all the pictures show it, but if you look at the actual text on, there's
Right.
like a Bitcoin's in and a Bitcoin's out, and there's like hundreds of thousands left over.
Oh,
That,
really?
like
Right.
either aren't accounted for or they've still got.
Now's a perfect time to plug the Bitcoin Stats app. And it's an app on Android and iOS, helps to track the price of Bitcoin in real time. Tell us more about it, Ash.
Well, it's really exciting.
Yeah.
Right? It's just been updated in the App Store.
Yes.
I've just this second downloaded the latest version. Because obviously we released it a couple of weeks back, but we had Mt. Gox, so we had to obviously remove it, and we launched with Bitstamp, Mt. Gox, and BTCE, and obviously Mt. Gox got pulled on the day that it went live in the App Store, so we quickly rushed to get it updated, and it's just this second gone live. We've now got. It now supports Bitstamp, BTCE, BTC China, and Kraken.
Bitcoinstats.co.uk. Get the app there. So, in other news in the world of cryptocurrencies, some quite exciting news this week actually. There's an eBay patent filing. Now, patent filings, I'm aware they're often big rumour generators. Okay?
Yeah, it happens with Apple.
We see that all the time.
All the time.
But they filed a patent suggests further evidence that the auction site is looking to accept alternative currencies on the site, and I mean that actually includes things like air miles and Facebook micro credits that as they once were and they're no longer. But anyway. The point is that, as everybody in the cryptocurrency and Bitcoin world knows, it is when an eBay or an Amazon accepts Bitcoin, only really then can it start to go mainstream. So it could be the tipping point if they do. So eBay currently encourages the sale of virtual currencies on its classified ads platform.
Yeah.
But it looks like this could be an extension into what it will do is you can pay in any currency and it will handle the exchange.
Right.
Yeah, it's a weird one because obviously eBay is pretty much PayPal and vice versa.
Totally, yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how that goes down. Because I guess it's probably a positive thing for them if they jump into Bitcoin early. At least they mitigate any losses they get from people using PayPal less. At least they gain the benefit as well.
Well, unless PayPal obviously upgrades and takes on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Because they would have to, because obviously eBay bought PayPal, didn't they?
Yeah.
So therefore.
I mean, for me, I think the pieces are starting to fall into place because I think Bitcoin. I know that the Winklevoss twins would love one Bitcoin to be worth $100,000, but it seems like the price is stabilising, and even with something like Mt. Gox, it didn't really rock the price too much, and it seems to have stabilised quite nicely.
Well, it had a bit of a dip.
It did.
But it is
For a day.
recovering. Yeah, it is recovering.
It seems reasonably stable.
I mean, yeah, since I think we talked about this last time. I mean, obviously, we've all been slightly disappointed with the fact that the price has dropped down from 1,000
Yeah.
In I think it was when was it? December.
Oh, yeah,
Christmas.
before,
Yeah, December.
Appropriately
January.
enough.
And it's kind of gone down, and then obviously Mt. Gox happened, and it's pretty much just shit's hit the fan, isn't it, over the last.
I mean, I'm not going to think it's stable unless it's like 600 or whatever price it is for a few years. I mean, I thought it was stable like multiple times, and then 6 months later, after it's kind of been stable, something happens, it shoots up or shoots down.
Did you know this week Zero Block bought RTBTC, and that is a real-time trading platform.
Yeah.
Zero Block is the mobile app which was acquired by blockchain.info.
Yeah. Know a lot about it.
Know a lot about it.
Been in the space.
Have Blockchain given you a call about Bitcoin stats?
Not yet. We're open.
Blockchain, if you're watching.
Phone numbers here. Yeah, it's interesting. RTBTC.
Yeah.
They've facilitated more than $150 million worth of trading using their platform, which is it's obviously quite a popular platform, and it's quite interesting. I think
Is to RTBTC.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting because Zero Block, they obviously started out with this mobile app. It was on Android, iOS, still is. They've got the desktop version, and it used Clark Moody's charts. And he was obviously a developer at RTBTC, and
Right.
and then obviously over the last few weeks, because of the GOX problem, the Clark Moody chart hasn't been working because it uses Mt. Gox's data. So if you look at Zero Block at the moment, I looked at it a couple of days ago, there weren't any charts in there because they're trying to update them. But obviously now Zero Block have pretty much got the guy who would,
Did the charts.
supplying the charts for their app. That's a great thing for them because obviously they can all work together and build up this massive trading platform. They can have the platform, the mobile app, so they kind of trying to dominate the market in terms of visualizing this Bitcoin information, which is great. It's good. Zero Block's good. It does a job, right? It gives you the price, but there are loads of other apps out there that do the same thing. And the difference with Bitcoin Stats is that it's a very visual way of presenting the information. We're also adding some really interesting features down the line. We're going to add, bringing in the social element into trying to understand what people are doing online and how the Bitcoin sentiment online is affecting the price, and so we're going to be doing some really interesting stuff with data.
Yeah.
Which I'm personally excited about, and I think we can kind of take it. We can look at it from a different angle. These guys are clearly coming at it from a proper financial background, and the information they've got in the images of the dashboard I've seen it it's proper full on. Some people aren't going to want to know that, and there are going to be some people that just want to know what the price is. They can easily flick through. They can see some news. They can see what the social chatter is online, and they can find out whether what people think of Bitcoin, as well as just being able to understand a little bit more about it. So that's kind of the difference between what we're trying to do and obviously what they're trying to do. So I don't kind of see it as being like a competitor in a way.
Okay.
Because we're trying to do something different, right?
Yeah.
But it's good. I think it's good.
So all the big news this week.
So other big news, I think this is quite a big piece of news. Overstock, big retail site based in the US, they've passed the $1 million mark on Bitcoin transactions after just 2 months.
That's amazing.
That's 4,300 transactions using Bitcoin. The CEO and chairman, Mr. Byrne, said we did not expect to hit this milestone so quickly, and that 60% of the sales were new customers. So that shows accepting Bitcoin was more than just a quick PR win for them. That was that they actually got new customers.
I don't think the £1 million extra revenue or £1 million revenue from Bitcoin is that big of a deal. That must be such a small percentage of what they do in 2 months. But the fact that they got new customers out of it is quite good. But it'd be interesting to see whether they keep stats on it or not, hopefully they do, is like the returning customers with Bitcoin. So whether them new customers that come with Bitcoin actually stay and keep coming back with and pay with Bitcoin, or whether it was just like, oh, I can spend it now, let's buy some curtains quick.
Yeah, what is Overstock for people that don't know, like me?
It's kind of this seems to sell a bit of everything.
Yeah, they sell a bit of everything.
It's like the pound shop. But I tell you what, that's interesting because the average customer spend is about $232. So that's quite an investment, isn't it? You know, to spend on using Bitcoin.
Yeah, it is.
The average, if you've got £1 million, you know, and they only have 4,200
I see what you're getting at.
transactions.
So somebody probably somewhere spent a lot more than £200 on Overstock. Because those people, I can't remember what they said the most common purchase was, but I think it was something like curtains.
I mean, someone must have spent like 10 grand's worth of Bitcoin.
They redid their front room, bought some sofas, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, they sell like, you know, some big ticket items like furniture, sofas and stuff, you know what I mean? So.
Oh, right, okay.
So that's great. I mean, the more we see that, like I say, that is the key to Bitcoin actually becoming mainstream.
That helps liquidity as well, and I think Overstock are currently keeping 10% of their Bitcoin, because originally they weren't keeping any. It was going straight into or straight into dollars, but now I think they said they're keeping 10% with the hopes that they will be able to offer it as payment either to suppliers or to employees at some point.
That's brilliant.
It's quite a risky move, isn't it?
It is, but keeping 10% is, I mean,
it's 100 grand. I imagine 100 grand can't be that much money.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Could go up or down.
that's the thing with Bitcoin at the moment. You know, a lot of people, when you buy something with Bitcoin, or say I wanted to give you money, you know, because of the volatility in it at the moment, if I gave you XYZ number of Bitcoin, you would probably cash it out right now because you'd want to keep the value that I've given you, right? You know, unless you that's
kind of. I think it works the other way for a lot of people. I'm really reluctant to spend my Bitcoin because
it's a risk.
It's an investment, and spending it now. You know, if I spent one Bitcoin now, I'd be really annoyed if it's worth 10 grand in a year or two's time.
Yeah.
Do you think that's because it's hard for you to get more? Like if you could use your Bitcoin to buy stuff and quite easily just go and top up your balance the next day, would you spend it more?
That's a really good question. Is it? Yeah, I don't know because is it any more? It depends what I'm buying. There'd have to be a good reason for me to pay for something with Bitcoin over and above a credit or debit card.
Because at the moment, you want to keep your same amount of Bitcoin, so you'd have to go through extra effort. Although paying with Bitcoin might be easy enough, you'd have to go through extra effort to keep your Bitcoin balance at the amount that you want it to be at.
But also, if I had the sense that it's always going to be around the $600, $650 mark, and I thought that was stable now, I would make lots of small transactions. I'd go down to, you know, Old Shoreditch Station and buy a coffee with Bitcoin as a matter of course, because I'd almost be cashing out the successful investment I made ages ago when I bought them at $10 each.
Yeah.
You know, and doing my bit for the Bitcoin economy as well. But anyway, I don't know. It's a tricky one. What if Amazon started, you know, taking Bitcoin?
Coin. The problem is at the moment there's still a massive barrier to entry for untechnically skilled people to pay with Bitcoin, because to pay with Bitcoin you need to get you need to have a wallet, you need to make sure it's safe.
Yeah.
Like some of the projects that are coming out where you can get labels for your addresses are quite interesting, because that helps lower the barrier of entry. So it'll just be like, what's your email address or what's your Bitcoin address, and it'll be like, I don't know, Will Francis at whatever website, or it could just be like your Twitter handle. And
that acts as a label for your Bitcoin address.
Then when you pay for them on the website, you could be like, click a drop down that is like which address is this from? Your Gmail's, your Hotmail's, your whatever else, and then it would send it to the right address.
And Bitcoin's been pretty tarnished in the mainstream media, isn't it? You know, all mainstream media reports about is, you know, Silk Road 2. This geezer Satoshi
Yeah.
Nakamoto.
It's as if they want it to fail.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's a lot of political stuff around it. But yeah, I think
it's still a very alternative thing and seen as a tool for anarchy and
totally. We could be 10 years too early.
Yeah.
Well, 2024. Hello.
Or if you're watching this on Dave.
Yeah,
that's it. Dave Jarvu.
Dave replaying.
Anyone outside the UK, Dave is a channel that reruns loads of old comedy shows. So this week's movers and shakers. Well, we talked a lot about Auroracoin last week, so that's worthy of a mention first and foremost.
Yeah.
Auroracoin basically was on the crest of a wave last week. Sam got in early. We didn't. Suffice it to say, we jumped in with both feet.
And at the top of the crest, it's dived down.
And unfortunately, it's crashed a little bit, and it's worth about a third of what we bought at. But that's crypto for you,
That's crypto.
That's it. That's the game you play. And the airdrop is in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah.
Where half of all Auroracoin that will ever exist will be made available to the Icelandic people for them to apply to their share.
And it'll happen when we're recording the show, so
it will do.
So what do you think's going to happen?
I think a sudden availability of lots of Auroracoin will make the price drop considerably. Each Auroracoin at the moment is worth $27. I would be surprised if at the point that the airdrop happens that they're worth more than $10.
You think they're going to drop to...
I think so. I think that, I
reckon 12 to 15.
I just think market forces being what they are, that sudden availability makes them...
Oh, you mean, I thought you meant as it drops they're only going to be worth that much.
Yeah, I think as people make avail of the offer to apply for them.
But it's not just an airdrop. It's not like they have to get people to
I know that.
sign up. So it's down to them to market it in Iceland, which I imagine with a population of 300,000.
Yeah.
That they're gonna, a lot of people are probably gonna know about it. But are they going to be bothered?
At the moment it's £500. I imagine you can get people to do to sign up to a website and click some buttons for the chance of having £500.
Yeah.
People fill in very long surveys for like £5.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure they'll be up for it, and I think it will have a real effect on the price. Also, I think a lot of people will be thinking that who own them like me, and they'll be looking to dump them. Other movers and shakers. So there are two notable at the top of the change percentage lists on CoinMarketCap. There are two notable inclusions, entries: Blackcoin and PandaCoin. Blackcoin is the first real proof of stake coin, and it generates interest every year for those holding Blackcoin. It's unminable, and new coins will only be created by the proof of stake algorithm. I know my way around cryptocurrencies, but I'm not entirely sure what that means.
Yeah, I had a quick look, and it basically means that it was mineable to a certain point.
Okay.
So, and it was then I'm not sure if it was given out, distributed, or just somebody put it on an exchange.
Yeah.
And so once you've got some in your wallet, the proof of stake algorithm means that it kind of works just like interest, like I think it's like a 1% interest.
Yeah.
So once you've got some, they'll just sit in your wallet and they'll increase.
Yes, so 1%. It will receive a 1% compound interest on a yearly basis.
Yeah. There's also another way. I think there's interest and the proof of stake thing are slightly different.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I don't think anybody else has done that before. It's why if you look on blockchain.info and the speculation looks so big, is because I'm not sure if anyone has done anything like this before. And the only way, if you are buying a massive chunk of them, you're the one that's going to be getting all the interest. So I understand why the speculation has gone through the roof so quickly.
Yeah. It seems... Yeah, it seems like a good bet on the face.
It kind of feels like a land grab.
Totally, very much so. At the moment, each Blackcoin's worth just 9 cents. And that's rocketed up from being worth nothing pretty much. And that was the Bitcoin Stats Show with me, Will Francis, Sam Billingham, and Ashley Ford. Don't forget to join us next week for more and download the Bitcoin Stats app at bitcoinstats.co.uk.
Until then, stay crypto.